Hi and welcome to Take Time to Create. My name is Linda and this is where we take time out of our everyday lives to create new and wonderful things. Today we have another art journal page for the Sisterhood of the Traveling Art Journal. And this theme for this art journal is a little more on the challenging side, but I'm really excited to show you what I came up with and to show you how I created my page. So let's get to creating. So here is my art journal page that I'm going to be working on, and it's in my Ranger art journal, and this is the one that I have been working in, and I've got all my other pages, and I will link the playlist up above in the iCard so you can see all of the others that I've worked on, all the other pages that I've done. Today we are going to do the Sword in the Stone, or the King Arthur legend on this page. I'm actually super duper excited about this. Let me grab a map and I'm going to stick this in between my layers. I like to use maps in between my layers because it keeps my layers clean, and then I can use my maps in my art journal pages later. Okay, let me square that up. Now you can see it. All right, so what I'm going to do is take some tissue paper. I just have an old brush here and I have tissue paper from Patterns, and I am just going to layer in some gloss gel, Liquitex. Any gloss medium will work, or it doesn't even have to be gloss. Any gel medium will work, and I'm just going to smear it on and create a base layer. And this journal is, like I said, going to be the King Arthur legend. Now, I am in love with this. So this is for the Sisterhood of the Traveling Art Journal. And if you're new here, welcome. And this is just something that I'm doing with some friends, and we all have a journal. And each of us picked a theme, and my theme was travel, and I created a travel themed journal. I created a page, and then I sent my journal to the next person on the list. Well, the person before me sent their journal to me, and I created a page based on their theme. Well, everybody has their own theme, and it's all different, and it's pretty exciting. And I have been exposed to a ton of different themes, and it's just amazing to me. And it's just crazy because I never thought this theme. So this theme, I'll say I was challenged with this one. And then after I got to thinking about it, I was pretty excited. And I'll tell you in just a second what the theme is. And the whole thing, this whole art sisterhood, I have just been exposed to themes I don't think I would have normally thought of my own. It has been expanding my creativity and really challenging me, and I have loved this whole experience. So I say grab some friends and do your own Sisterhood of the Traveling Art Journal, and yeah, just do it because it is so much fun. This theme, what she put on there was medieval gypsy. Now, I don't know, and there wasn't a lot of explanation with it. I don't know if it was supposed to be a medieval gypsy, or if I could do medieval, or if I was supposed to do gypsy. There was no punctuation with it, and there was a space between the words. So, and all of this is really cool because you can leave it up to your interpretation. So I just left it as my interpretation of medieval. And so I love the myth, the legend of King Arthur. And I just watched that movie that's in the theater, The Kid Who Would Be King. I really got a kick out of that movie. So I thought this would be perfect. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I really enjoyed that movie. Got a kick out of it. And I wanted to do this theme. And as I was digging in my stash, I noticed I knew I had fabric that looks like rocks. So we're going to be using this fabric too. So I'm pretty excited. Everything's going to be awesome. So once you have your tissue paper down, and none of this is perfect, it's supposed to be all wrinkly, it's supposed to be a mess. I just want texture. I just want it to have a lot of flexibility with it. But I also want to have a neutral background. So what I'm going to do is take some just heavy white gesso. Any white gesso will work. and I am just taking the same brush because, well, I don't feel like cleaning a brush, and I am just painting over it, and I've got a really gloopy, gloppy mess. And so everything will need to dry before we go on to the next layer. And I have to say, this whole Sisterhood, it's been a lot of fun. And we're about halfway through this project. So I don't know what I'm going to do next year. So I don't know if we're going to do it again or if we're going to do something a little different. I don't know. We'll see. Don't worry if your gesso isn't covering everything perfectly, because you kind of want a little bit of the pattern to show through. You want a little bit of the texture. You want a little bit of the brown to show through. I like that. I like using patterns because they're everywhere. They're pretty abundant, and I get them from my Creative Reuse Center. Other thrift stores like Goodwill, ARC, or whatever thrift stores you have usually have patterns, and I like to just use them up, because if they've been cut up, you know, sometimes you can reuse them, sometimes you can't. It just all depends. But for me, this is a great way for me to recycle patterns. Okay, so I've got a big gloopy wet mess, and I'm going to let this dry. You can use a heat tool to let this dry, or, you know, just let it air dry on its own. Either way is fine. Yeah, so everything is ready to be dried, and then we can move on to the next step. Yeah, oh, there we go. Cool. Awesome. So the background is all dry, and we have the tissue paper on here, and then the gesso, and it's dry. So what I want to do is add a background with colors, and I'm using Dilution's Shimmer Spray, and I have 4 colors. I have cut grass and polished jade for the ground, and I have London blue and Calypso teal for the sky. And I'm going to start with the lighter colors. So it's cut grass and Calypso teal, and then I'll add the darker colors. And I'm going to add less ground and more sky, but then you really have to shake these up. And I've had these for a while, and I just don't reach for them very much. So I thought today was a day that I needed to reach for them. So shake these up really good, and I'm going to shake all of them up. Now we're just going to go to town and spray and just make this background really pretty. If you don't want the side to have spray on it, cover it up with a map or something, but it doesn't really bother me. So for this, I'm not going to worry about it. The overspray doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, cover it up. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to put some spray, and we're going to add some green down here. We're going to add some water because I want things to run. I'm going to, here we go, pick up my book. I want it to run. I'm going to spray. I want the green to run. I want it all to run down. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, I like that a lot. Now I'm going to take, I know it's hard to see because I've got it standing up. I'm going to take the London blue and spritz it. Spritz it, and I'm going to let that run. I'm going to spray it as well, let it run down. Then I'm going to take the polished jade down here, and I'm going to let that run down, and I'm going to spritz that as well. Let that run down. Cool. All right. Very cool. All right. I love this. Now I've got a big mess. I really love the way this is turning out. Love it. I know it was hard to see because I had to hold it up, but spritz it and then just kind of let it run down. And then I'm just kind of going through and blotting up some of the mess, the big puddles. And that adds, you know, other places where it's not so dark, and I like that a lot. Now I'm taking my spray bottle and I'm taking the I don't know, whatever this thing is called, the little sprayer out of the inside, and I'm just tapping it along and getting some splatters going. And I'm adding actually some splatters in the opposite color. So some of the green will go in some of the blue, and some of the blue will go in the green, and that's okay because you kind of want to bring the colors, and I like the mixture, and I don't want it to be so, you know, blue here, green here. So I like it just a little bit of a mixture, but not too much, just enough. This is just the background. Love this. Okay, so this is the background of the ground and the sky, and the next step we're going to need to do is make the sword to put in the stone. So let me move this to the side and we will get the materials out to make the sword. All right, so I'll be right back. And this will dry while we're making the sword. All right, so for the sword, I went online and I found a little sword that I cut out. It's just a clip art sword. Not a big deal. Now what I need to decide is, do I like the sword or do I need to alter it in any way? And it's probably a little long, but I will just clip it, or I'll just shove it more into the stone when I create the stone. And I think it's wide enough. I might make it a little wider as I do it. And I think I'll just create it a little wider. But like I said, I think it's a little long, but that is not a big deal. So I'm going to go with what this is. My paper's a little wet, so I'm holding it up. All right, so let me move my journal. So I have this grunge board in my stash, and it's Tim Holtz. I found this at Who Gives a Scrap about a year or so ago. Maybe a little longer. I'll link the haul video that I think I did a haul video when I found this. I'll link that in the iCard up above so you guys can see that. And I love it, but I don't use it as much. And of course I'm behind the times because that's me. I'm always behind. But originally it was $10.25. I did not purchase it for that much. I don't know how much I purchased it for, but it was significantly less than $10.25. So I have one little grunge board here, and it is, yeah, I'm gonna say it's longer than what I need, or it's shorter. My sword is longer. So I got out two, but what I'm gonna do is just not worry about it. I'm gonna put him over here on the side like this, and I'm not gonna worry about the end because I already decided that he was too long. The little sword was too long, Excalibur, so I am just going to not worry about that edge. Let me grab a pencil, and I am going to, let's see, which side do I want? One side's a little more raised than the other, so I'm actually going to draw on the less raised side. I don't think it really matters. And I'm going to draw slightly outside of the lines just to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm not sure if this is the exact proper design of a sword for this era, but I'm going to go with it. So I apologize if this is not a historically accurate sword for what Excalibur should look like. I apologize, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm just rolling with it. I'm pretty sure the fabric rock is not historically accurate either. So sometimes you just have to kind of go with the flow when you are doing an art journal. So the nice thing about these grunge board is that it is very easy to cut. I do love that about the grunge board. And it does accept paint very easily. I really kind of like everything to do with this grunge board. I just don't use it as often as I should because it's in my stash. So that is another beautiful part about this whole low buy is I am really using things that are in my stash and really enjoying it. And also, swords don't have this Harlequin pattern on it as well. Now, if you don't have the grunge board, cardboard would work as well. Save the little scraps because you can use those for other projects. This paper is so cool. All right, so I need to kind of straighten up the edges. I didn't do a good job making my edges very nice. So let me clean this up and make it more sword-like, make it look a little better. Then we can, I don't understand what happened here. Anyway, so yeah, let me make it like a little better of a sword. And then we're gonna get to painting it. I need to make it look grungy. We need a grungy silver, grungy, and then grungy on the gold, grungy top. So yeah, let me finish cutting out my Excalibur sword and we will go on to the next step. All right, so I have my little sword all cut out and I have it on a map here so that I don't get my work surface all yucky. I'm going to paint the whole sword in sterling silver folk art. Just a little bit, just to kind of give it all a base color. And actually this isn't doing much. But I just want to give it all a base color. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to add some waxes to it. Now, I need to dry this first, and I did not gesso first. I don't think you need to with this grunge board, but if you wanted to, you could certainly gesso first. And if I did put white gesso, that would have brought the silver, but it was already a gray color, so I didn't think I needed it. So it's completely up to you, but I know I'm gonna put waxes on it, so just do whatever you want. I mean, it's just gonna get a lot of treatment on it. So let me dry it. So I have some Finnabar waxes, and I have the color Bronze Age, Rich Copper, Vintage Silk, and Brushed Iron. I think Brushed Iron is perfect for the sword itself. And I'm just going to take a little bit. I have a stipple brush here. It's a plaid stipple brush. And I just warm it up on my hand. And I just kind of bring it down here. And if you warm it up on your hand, it really works really well. Now this is pretty shiny. We're going to need to dull this up a little bit. And I will do that because, you know, of course this sword has been in the stone for a while and it's too shiny. Okay. I think we're going to do Bronze Age. Let's see here. No, I don't know which ones I want to do. So I think this is too coppery. Yeah, okay. So I think Bronze Age is the one I want to do for the top. All right. So yeah. Bronze Age up here on the hilt of the sword. Okay. As I understand these waxes, they have beeswax in them, I think. It doesn't say it on the back, but as I understand, they do, if I have my story correct. So that's why you want to warm it up on your hand. But I did take a class from Finnabar herself, and that is how she used her product, is she actually warmed it up on her hand before she used it in the product, or in the project we were doing. So that was really cool. So that's why I do the same thing. If the artist uses her tools that way, I figure good enough. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of the Bronze Age and I'm just going to drag that down just a little bit down the sword itself. Not a lot, and I'm mixing it on my hand with the silver just to kind of grunge it up just a little bit, just because I want it just a little dirtier. And then I'm going to really grunge up the sword in just a minute. And yeah. Okay, cool. All right, this is looking really good. Okay, so we're almost there. Okay, the sword, it's a good start. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to get some Distress ink out for the next step. And yep, there we go. So this is all of the wax we're going to put on it for now. So let me go get my Distress ink out. All right, so now you want your wax all the way dry before you add your Distress ink, and I have black soot, and what I have is just a little dauber here, and I'm just going to just kind of ink the edges, and I'm just kind of making it, oh well, distressed. I just want to really kind of grunge it up like it's been in the rock or the stone for centuries. I want to make it look like it's old. Not all so shiny because these waxes are so shiny. I want to make it look less shiny, and it's hard to see it on the camera because I've got all my bright lights going on, but we will dull it up, and I'll hold it up and you'll see it. And I'm just going to kind of press it in there. You can still see the colors, the silver and the bronze, and there you go. That's it. That's all we need to do with that. Okay, cool. So let me get my journal, and then we'll move on to the next step because we're going to add the rock and finish it up. All right, so here's the background. It's all dry, and the sword is on here, and it looks really good like this. If you want to just leave it like this, and if you want to just put some fabric, you know, to make it look like rock, perfect, leave it. I'm going to make my sword, I'm going to try to make my sword pull out of the stone. So I've got a little strip of paper, and I folded it just a tiny bit, and I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue, glue it on the bottom of the sword, just a tiny bit. Down here at the bottom of the sword. We're going to see how this works out. I'm hoping that I don't get too much gel medium when I do the rock here, because when I do the rock, if I get too much going on, then the sword, oh, I did it backwards. Oh man. Yeah, there we go. Let's glue it on the wrong side, of course, because, well, that's just what I do. There we go. All right. So I'm hoping that I don't have too much gel medium going on when I actually put the rock together. So fingers crossed that I do it right. Now that I've actually glued onto the wrong side, we're good to go. And so we'll glue the other part of the strip. Let's see here. We'll glue the top of it here. And so then it'll just hold on to the very, very top with hot glue. And so you can pull this way and it'll look like that. Cool. All right. We are going to see how this works. I've never done this before. I like to really kind of do things I've never done before. We'll see how it works. All right. And I kind of picked a gray, so it kind of goes. And we'll see how it all works out. So, all right. Awesome. Well, that's the start. So now I have the fabric that we are going to put down as rocks. I have 2 strips, and it kind of looks like rocks. Let me show you like this. And really cool. It's just been in my stash. That's what I have. I'm going to use gloss gel like what we used earlier to put down the patterned paper, or the tissue paper from the patterns rather. And I have 1 glove. I'm going to kind of Michael Jackson it on up. I don't have a second glove. I'm all out. Maybe I have another one. Hold on. Oh, cool. All right, I do have 2 gloves. Oh, I need to go buy no more gloves. Oh man, but this one's too big. It's a huge glove. Okay. I'm coordinated. I'm there. Here we go. So we're going to kind of make rocks, but I don't want to put it on this. So maybe I can protect it. I have a piece of plastic, and I'm going to stick it down here, and maybe I can leave that until I don't need it there anymore. Pull it up. So I'll see how it goes. So I'm just taking a scoop of the gel and kind of mushing it around and putting it on there. And then what I'm going to do is pull it out and wring it out. Like I said, I've never done this. I mean, I've done the fabric technique, of course. This is kind of my signature technique. I do this all the time, but I have never done the sword to pull out of the stone. I'm pretty excited. I do love this, and it kind of got me excited for this theme. Like I was saying earlier, these themes are just kind of really expanding my creativity, expanding what I think I can do in the realm of art journaling. And as you probably have noticed, I like my art journal to have a theme, to say a story, to Talk to me. So, I'm thinking that the Sword in the Stone is a really cool legend, and I did love that. And I love medieval, so I think I might do a Robin Hood one next. I think that would be so cool. That was also my other choice that I thought I might do, but who knows? We're kind of going to play it by ear. See what happens. See what I do. All right. I'm going to kind of make it look like a rock. I have a second piece here that I'm going to use as well to put on top. Oh, and the Dilutions are water activated, so they are reacting with this gloss gel. I'd forgotten that they are. But it's kind of cool because the green is actually coming off onto the rock, the fabric. And honestly, that's fine by me because it kind of looks like grass or moss on the rock. So I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to be happy with it. I'm going to leave it. I think it's cool. So I'm going to kind of drag this down a little bit this way. I'm going to drag this down. I want it down here. Now you can still see the bottom of the sword. So I need to add the second one. And make sure you have right sides and wrong sides. You want your wrong side down, your right side up. All right, and your rock doesn't have to be symmetrical, so you can see I've got a little bit more rock over here. All right, we are setting the other piece on here. We just want to kind of marry them together, make them work together. I'm going to put a little bit extra over here, squish them around. I am hoping that we can still work our sword. And when this is all done, it will dry super hard. And now, as you know, when I do my canvases, I put a layer of heavy gel medium down first. Then I coat it with the gloss gel and then it works. But since we're dealing with paper and it's going in an art journal, I didn't think I needed to put the heavy gel down first. So if you do watch my other videos with the canvases, you will see that I do it a little differently. But like I said, I didn't think it was necessary to worry about that. So I left it like that. Okay. All right, so I am loving my rock. Oh, that's so cool. Now there's two methods you can do with drying this. You can let it air dry. And that's usually what I do because it's so wet and it takes such a long time for it to dry. Or you can take a heat tool and do it that way. But I am going to go ahead and just let it air dry. And let's see how this works out. And then I might add some more paint on top of it when we're all done. So, okay, let's let it dry. All right, so we're back and this is completely dry and this sword works. Whoop, whoop. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. So I left the plastic wrap under there and it secured down there, and I'm just gonna leave it because I think that will protect it. Yeah, so I think it's really cool. I think if I were to do it next time, I would probably do, cut it on the other page and kind of do a notch technique that way. But I wasn't planning ahead, did not plan ahead at all. But this way works. Just gives you another technique if you want to do a different way to do a Sword in the Stone pull out that way. But yeah. So, like I do with all of my fabric mixed media, is I paint over the top. And I'm using Gunmetal Gray and, nope, not Champagne, this one. And Nickel, and they're both folk art, and I'm just pouring a little bit on my palette over here. And by palette, I mean paper plate that I've used again and again and again. And what I do is I just take a paintbrush and I just dry brush over the top, and I just add a little bit onto the top. And I'm actually going to go onto the ground as well, just to kind of blend the rock to the background, just so it's not so grass rock. I just want it a little bit that it belongs together. So while that is drying, I'm going to add some quotes to the sky. I am going to add the King Arthur quote, "Whosoever pulleth out this sword of this stone and anvil is rightwise king born of all of England." Now, I did not find this pre-purchased. I actually found this, you know, on my computer. So I typed it and then I printed it out on my computer because you're not going to find this at the store. And so I do this quite often. If there's a quote that I like, I will print it up myself. So I'm going to cut it in half like this, and I'll have to trim off some of that white as well. And let's see here. Yep. So I'm going to put double sticky tape on it, and I'm going to adhere it to my background. All right. So I have the text down. I'm just taking a gel pen and I'm just going to, and I am just going to kind of outline it, you know, just kind of scribble around it. I like to do this. It just kind of brings it out. Okay, so this is it. Let me pull out the map. So it's all done. Hope you enjoyed it. Yep. There we go, all done. We've got the stone, we have the sword, we have the quote, we have everything we need, whoop whoop, for the sword and the stone, all done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this art journal page. I hope you learned a little bit on how to create a medieval page, and maybe you can use that technique of pulling up the sword for an art journal page of your own. I have 2 Instagrams you can follow along on. I have Linda's Journey 78, which is my personal Instagram, which I show vacations, family, and all those other personal things. Feel free to follow along there. I also have Take Time to Create, which is all my crafty goodies, and there's up close photos and what's on my table and upcoming sneak peeks of projects. I also have a blog and a Facebook as well. All of the links are in the description box down below. I would love to have you follow along on any or all of them. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you know when I post more videos. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.